The apparent cost of raising a child to the age of 21 has been revealed today, and for the first time, the total exceeds £200,000. The biggest drains on parents' resources include the £54,000 spent on childcare, £52,000 on education, and £17,000 on food, with parents typically splashing out just under 10 grand a year to feed, clothe, and educate each new member of their family. Now, the press is suggesting that this figure may make some prospective parents think twice. So, is the price of parenthood enough to put you off?
Oh, my word, nobody told me that.
You don't spend anything like that on your kids, do you, Coleen?
Well, to be honest with you, not on food. Or education, to be honest. Well, you know, how do you put a price on kids? Of course, my kids are priceless. If someone had told me that, I might have opted for a nicer house. You know, but, you know, it's difficult to put a price on kids, but I kind of understand it. But it's really hard because it's peer pressure, a lot of it as well. I know that sometimes I overspend on my children because of the guilt thing of being away, and then you think, oh, I'll bring them a little present back, you know, and stuff like that. So I probably am a bit one of those parents that overspends a little bit, but not too much, you know. But I found it's harder because some people say it's so hard for people that just haven't got the money. Well, actual fact, in some respects, it isn't, because you just go, no, I haven't got it. But when your kids know you have and you're still saying no, oh my God, they do the whole guilt trip, you know. Oh, you're horrible, and I can't bear it.
Do you think that you probably spent more than that on your kids then, Cole?
What, 200 grand?
It's difficult to analyse, though, isn't it? Because it's such a gradual thing. I have to say, seeing that figure there is quite shocking, because I was talking to some girls the other day who were probably sort of about 40, and they were still saying, I know, but it's just the expense. And I say, yes, but if we thought about it, nobody would ever have children. No. The population would just dry up if you actually thought about how much it does cost. I mean, I'm a bit like you. I think a lot of mine has been being a working mum and sort of doing guilt things. I mean, a friend of ours has, as you informed me, has recently sold a house to keep her child in private education. I don't think I'd go that far as to sell me house.
Yeah, and that figure I gave on education...
It did me first one, no favours at all.
That figure we gave out on education isn't for private education. That's just uniforms, school trips, and all the stuff you need for school.
I think I should have been a bit stricter. I mean, obviously, again, like Coleen says, it doesn't matter. You know, I'd give my kids the world, and Matthew is a musician and hopefully on the verge of signing, fingers crossed, so that I can have my MTV Cribs house, which he's promised me. But so I feel like a little bit, hopefully, like I'm investing in my future. But I think that certainly I should have been stricter with him as regards things like bed and board, because you said, you know, from an early age, you had to give your mum bed and board, and that's where Tim and I have... We have money we spend on children rows all the time. It's one of our main areas
with Matthew,
of rowing.
I mean, you're supporting your son in his pursuit of his dream, which is brilliant. Do you think...
But what if she couldn't?
Well, yeah, then what would he do?
Well, this is interesting, because I actually spoke to his manager and said, look, can you tell me how mums and dads of kids in bands who are good, they can't support their child? What happens? He said, well, unfortunately, they go down the wayside. He said...
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but I think that because I suppose Matthew didn't go to university, I sort of think that until he's 21, I'm kind of like doing
things that. Like get a job in a bar. They do things like get a job delivering pizza.
And I should have forced
like I did.
I tell you,
so did I have to do
one of the most successful bands this country's ever produced were the product of a single-parent family, Oasis. Both boys went out, made it happen, but also paid their mum a bit of bed and board, and maybe...
I think what you
have to say,
remember
though, Matthew does... When I say this, because I don't want it to look badly on him, because we have another younger child, obviously, who I had when I was 97, as you know. Matthew does pay me in kind as well.
Oh, does he?
I mean, he looks after Louis a lot of the time. No, he does. He looks after Louis a lot of the time, and he sort of, rather than getting money, he will just help.
Well, that's a big saving, because let me tell you, childcare is an enormous expense and a massive drain on parents' resources. Huge.
Just leave them, they'll be fine.
That is a huge figure, though. That is a huge amount of money to pay out over a lifetime. And, you know, I'm the only one on the panel, obviously, that hasn't got children. But what I think you should remember is, when you said you're investing in your future, don't ever think you're going to get any of it back.
No, you shouldn't expect
because, it. Unlike in Thailand, where, of course, that's what they do. They do repay their parents. They have such a wonderful respect for their elders all the time. Are you watching, Matthew? Which camera am I on?
Yeah.
Take
note.
Well,
you see, I know, I've been visiting a home lately, and there's 3 women in there who've got, like, 12 kids between them, and not one of them goes and sees them. So when you're in that home on your own, and we'll come and see you.
Tartan blanket.
With your tartan blanket.
We won't go and see her.
No, we won't. No, actually, we won't.
You've been horrible to me today.
Welcome back, indeed. OK, it's competition time, and this week...